this type of plan, as much as it's just tackling with like weight loss and things like that, the other thing that it totally tackles, and I don't know if this is from everyone's point of view, I think probably girls can relate to this a lot, is it kills those emotional eating habits as well, because you're cutting out that calorie counting and stuff like that. But like I just feel like I'm no longer thinking or attached to food like I was beforehand. I'm no longer eating when I'm sad, or eating when I'm happy, or eating when I'm bored. Like from this, I've kind of learned I'm eating with purpose, and I'm putting things in my body that are serving my body, and I know I'm going to use them 100% type of thing, where beforehand that's not how I related to food. That's not how I thought about food. Food was a consistent treat beforehand. So I think because it's dealt with a lot of that as well, it's just changed it for the future of how I kind of think about food.
What's going on, guys? Daniel here with Fat Loss with Daniel. Got a really cool interview for you guys today. Just talked with my friend Annie. Annie was one of my very first clients, and she lost 11 kilograms in 1 month. So she talks about her whole experience with me, her history beforehand, and just what it was like working with me. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're wondering why my face looks a little beat up, it's from boxing. So don't worry, I'm okay. Hope you guys enjoy it. So just talk about gaining fat before trying to lose it, if you tried to lose it, how you did that, what happened, and then where you were at, like right before we started.
So I probably really put on weight. I would have been because I'm 29 now, so I would have been 24 or 25, and it was just like relationship weight and stuff like that. For the last couple of years, I really ballooned out, just working an awful lot, not looking after myself and stuff like that. And because I worked an awful lot as well, I tried every fad diet at the time. So I would have a crack at anything, and majority of them failed type of thing. I couldn't commit to anything. And I think I had a massive emotional eating problem. Like my habits with eating were not very healthy either. About August last year, my best friend introduced me to the carnivore diet, and I tried that, and it was really easy for me to transition. It's not something that I really strayed from in the last 9 months. And I went from 100 kilos to 81. And that's where I was when I started with your program. So what had happened was, for probably about 9 months I did that, and really slowly lost weight, or lost 20 kilos, which was still massive for me. And then there was probably a month there where I just didn't. I just plateaued. I'm also 29, so I'm a bit older, and it's a bit harder to lose weight when you're at this age, compared to when I was 20. And then, so I was just doing carnivore for a really long time, and I'd started moving into those little sub categories that you go into. So I tried really high saturated fat, and that made me feel a little bit sluggish. And then, you popped up that you were going to start doing weight loss. I knew your background, so I knew it was going to be something similar to what I was doing, but also a little bit better. So I would have been, 81 kilos when we started, I think.
And you ended around 71. I think you lost 11 kilograms in the month, so it's finished around 70.
I think probably the last time I weighed myself, the photos, the last day that I sent to you, I was 71, but I think I got down to about 69 the last time I weighed myself. So we're looking at 11 or 12 kilos.
Okay. And could you talk about if you had any difficulty changing from what you were doing to what I had you doing?
I think I got really lucky because I'd already broken a lot of mindset with what I was doing before. So I found the transition, I wouldn't call it easy, but I think I knew what to expect. I wasn't, like I knew it was going to be hard, and cutting some of the things out that I was eating was a little bit hard. But I guess that with the fact, like if someone just had thrown that plan in front of me and said, do this, I probably would have had a little bit of difficulty doing it. But I found it so easy because of like the coaching and the consistent checking in, and I had someone that I was accountable to. And I think that is probably what made it not as hard as what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, the transition wasn't that bad for me personally.
It's good too when you see results. That makes the transition a bit easier. It makes it easier.
Oh, absolutely. That like probably the most shocking bit was because like I have lost a lot of weight beforehand, but it did take a really long time. And to start off with my diet, like going on to carnivore and changing the way I ate was never actually about weight loss. I wasn't doing it for that. I've got chronic pain, so it was about understanding what is inflammatory and understanding what is hurting my back and my body and stuff like that. And that's why I transitioned onto carnivore. From there, I realized I wanted to lose that extra bit of weight, because now knowing how easy I can move and how easy things are, and then going to what you did actually made like the pain probably a lot less and a lot easier to manage, because I'm really putting things in my body that aren't inflammatory at all.
Yeah, that's an important thing. And also once you lose weight, stuff gets way easier too. I think people don't realize like how much carrying around like 10 or 20 pounds, it's really quite a lot. Like just holding a 10-pound dumbbell, that's a significant amount of weight to hold for even 10 minutes, and you're carrying it around all day, so people don't realize maybe you have aches and pains that are caused by just carrying around too much weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think when you are a bit heavier and you can be in massive denial about it, and if I didn't have like the condition that I've got, and if I didn't have the injuries that I have, I probably wouldn't have cared and would have stayed in that state of denial where it's like, oh no, like it's not a big deal. Now being this weight that I am, I realize it's a massive deal. Like it takes a massive toll on your body, like physically and emotionally, to carry that weight around. And I know now that like it is benefiting me a lot more to be, like, well, in all, I'm like 30 kilos lighter, but even the last 10 kilos have made like a massive difference in how I feel.
Great. When did you first notice? How long did it take you to notice that it was working? I think I remember it wasn't from checking your weight. You like your clothes. It was something like your clothes fit a different way or something.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon it would have been like only the first 5 days was my first realization that it was working really, really quickly. And I think a lot of that was there was probably things that I was eating at the time that was still making me bloat a bit. So yeah, things weren't fitting around my waist anymore. And then I did my first like weigh in, and I try not to look at my weight that much because I do want to start probably building muscle, but I guess getting back to basics and knowing I'm in the right BMI and things like that makes me know that the weight I'm going to gain now is probably going to be muscle, not fat. But yeah, that's when I mainly started to notice it, because my waist just went down straight away, and like nothing fit me, which was great.
It's a good problem to have. Yeah, so that pretty much covers it. Maybe you can just give like a recap of like your whole experience, and maybe also talk about some of your friends. Like some of your friends now I'm coaching, so maybe talk about like how they noticed your results and now
definitely
coaching some of them.
The whole thing was like, I know it's different from everyone and everybody comes from a different background, but for me it was unbelievably easy. It was really easy, but the biggest benefit was being accountable to someone. I think that's a massive thing for me. Like if I've got, it's probably a really bad way to put it, if I've got somebody to impress, I'll probably work a lot harder or stick to something a lot more.
Sure.
So that was a massive thing that made it really easy. But also the fact that if I do decide to try something different, if I do decide to, I don't know, go on a holiday or do whatever I want or eat whatever I want, which is not actually the mindset that I have anymore because of these type of, like the way I eat now from this as well has made my mindset about food way different. Like my habits and my emotional connection to food is a lot different. Like going out for tea isn't something that excites me anymore, and that's fine. Like I've got better things to do type of thing. But I just found it a lot easier. And now I know that in the future, if I do put on weight or if I do try something different that doesn't work, I know that there's something solid and something concrete that I can come back to that works. I know how to do it. I can look back at what we worked on. Probably like the food diaries sending to you every day was great because I can look back on that and be like, oh yeah, well, I know what I was eating. And I know that I can do it. I've done it before. I can do it again type of thing, which is great because your body changes and things change. So It's good to know that there's something that works this time around. Like what I did when I was 20 isn't going to work now. Right. And then I am from a really small town in Mildura, so everybody knows everybody. And when I put my results up, did I say Mildura? I'm from a really small town in Australia called Mildura. And I put my results up and a lot of girls were really, really interested. And at first it was like, what are you doing? Just tell me the diet plan that you're on. And that's when I kind of backed it up with, I could, but there's a really good chance you're not going to stick to it type of thing. It is a little bit hard and you do need someone checking in on you, and I'm probably not the person to do that. So that's when I sent a lot of people your way, and one of my really good friends, Jess, that I think you spoke about on your last video, she saw results straight away. She came to me first and she was like, is this worth it? And I was like, yeah, like 100% worth it, because you are going to be accountable, someone's going to be checking up on you, and you're probably going to do it properly. Yeah.
She's done really good, actually. Jessica, she sent me, same like you, she sent me her food diary first few days, and like perfect. And she's like, I can't remember how much she was losing, but it was noticeable. It was significant.
Yeah, and I think we have a bit of a similar background of she'd already started realizing that like processed food and carbs and stuff like that aren't serving her, aren't doing her body any good and stuff like that. So she was already like headed in the right direction. But I think now that she's got so much more information, she's so much more educated in what really works, that she's pretty stoked with it. But same thing, this is one of those plans that we're doing it and we're getting educated at the same time, so that, we don't have to sign up to something else in a year. If something happens, we can just go back to what we did.
Yeah, that is a huge advantage. It's like, with Weight Watchers and like all these meal plans and stuff, it's like maybe it works, but you don't understand why it works. And so eventually when your subscription runs up and then you gain the weight back, then you have to go subscribe again, pay more money.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think the whole fact that they are still trying to excite you with food, they're still trying to put things in front of you that keep you stimulated. Where I find that this type of plan, as much as it's just tackling with like weight loss and things like that, the other thing that it totally tackles, and I don't know if this is from everyone's point of view, I think probably girls can relate to this a lot, is it kills those emotional eating habits as well, because you're cutting out that calorie counting and stuff like that. But like I just feel like I'm no longer thinking or attached to food like I was beforehand. I'm no longer eating when I'm sad, or eating when I'm happy, or eating when I'm bored. From this, I've kind of learned I'm eating with purpose, and I'm putting things in my body that are serving my body, and I know I'm going to use them 100% type of thing, where beforehand, that's not how I related to food. That's not how I thought about food. Food was a consistent treat beforehand. So I think because it's dealt with a lot of that as well, it's just changed it for the future of how I kind of think about food.
Right. Yeah, and that just comes down to, making food, prioritizing nutrition and what your body needs versus prioritizing entertainment. While food should be entertaining, it's you should not seek 100%, entertainment from your
Yeah.
food. You need to give your body what it needs. And if you do that, your body's going to say, okay, we're good. You don't really need to think about food or, prepare food or any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah, I thought I'd kind of hit the peak of that when I was, like 6 or 7 months into carnivore, but probably this has taken it to the next level. Not thinking about food. Like I don't really think about food. It like gets to a point where I'm like, oh no, like it's definitely time to eat. Where beforehand it was always like, what is my next meal? Like what am I going to have for dinner? What am I going to have for lunch? And now I'm like, no, I've got food in the fridge. When I'm hungry, I'll eat. And I'm not like probably the biggest thing my mum saw in the changes of like, apart from just the weight loss, she's like, this is the first conversation we've had where you haven't asked like what we're going to have for lunch. So I'm like, oh, I think I had a problem then. Like,
right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Thank you for speaking, Annie. Thanks for getting on here.
That's okay. No worries.
Hey, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you would like to do a free consultation call with me, please message me on Instagram or email me. Both of those links will be down in the description. And other than that, hope you all have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one.